and welcome to this week's session. Today we will talk about how to properly maintain your microscope. A microscope is like a watch. A good quality microscope, properly taken care of, will last you all your life and may even be passed on to your successors, so it is really worthwhile looking after it properly. Dust is the number one enemy of microscopes. It can accumulate in areas where it can be very difficult to remove. So even though it is hard to remember at the end of every use or every day, even I forget sometimes, you really must remember to replace the cover every time you have finished using the microscope. This simple act will prolong its life considerably. The second point is that immersion oil can also be your worst enemy. The most sensitive lens to this problem is the 40 times magnification lens, because normally, once the microscope is properly focused, the 10 and 20 times lenses are too short to touch the oil. But the 40 times magnification lens is nearest to the 100 times and the most likely to be accidentally dipped into oil, which really will clog it up, and before long you won't be able to see anything at all. Even for immersion oil lenses, when the oil dries, it changes the refraction of light and will affect the quality of your image. You need to clean the encrusted oil off the lenses regularly. You could just use pure alcohol for cleaning lenses, but I prefer to use this mixture of 70% alcohol and ether. I obtain the mixture at the pharmacy, but if you struggle to obtain it wherever you are, ask your microscope supplier for help. This mixture of alcohol and ether dries more rapidly and dissolves the oil more effectively than alcohol alone. Here you can see special optical paper. It is readily available everywhere and is the same product as you buy in the opticians for cleaning glasses. It is important to use this special paper, as lenses have a coating which prolongs their longevity, and this paper is specially adapted to preserve this coating on the lens. So here, simple cotton buds, which you will use for delicately cleaning the lenses, always covered with optical cleaning paper. And here, normal paper towel, useful for cleaning the stage and general parts of the microscope. Lens paper is fairly expensive, so you will want to reserve it for use on the lenses and use your alcohol ether mixture and paper towel for the rest of the microscope. So in summary, the material required is fairly straightforward. Paper towel, optical paper, cotton buds, and your 70% alcohol, 30% ether mixture that you should be able to obtain in your local pharmacy. Every day, systematically, you need to remember to replace the cover and to only use oil for the oil immersion lenses. Clean the immersion lenses every day to avoid a dry skin of oil encrusting on the lens, which will affect the clarity of your images. If you clean them every day with your alcohol mixture, they should never become clogged with oil. Every week, I suggest you clean the dust off various parts of the microscope: the light source, the condenser, and the eyepieces. Be careful of mascara. If there are little black spots present on the eyepieces, it may well be little deposits of mascara. Give them a quick clean with the alcohol ether preparation, wait 30 seconds, and they should have disappeared. When I talk about removing dust from the microscope, what are the most important areas to clean? The light source here, and the lens here. If you have a filter or a removable lens, don't hesitate to remove it to clean it thoroughly. The condenser here. If dust accumulate in either of these two areas, then your light source will be less bright and the quality of your images less good. And then the eyepieces here. Dust will collect in these, and sometimes infectious conjunctivitis can be transmitted from eyepieces, so giving them a good clean with alcohol from time to time is highly recommended. If need be, if your immersion lenses become ingrained with oil, it happens to everybody once in a while, or if you have accidentally dipped a dry lens into immersion oil, you will need to perform a deep clean of that lens. For this, you are strongly advised to take the lens apart in order to clean it correctly. The most modern lenses are planed to avoid deformation artifacts on the images. This means they have a concave surface right at the end of the lens. To be able to properly clean these lenses, you need to be able to probe a little deeper. It is for this purpose that you will use the cotton bud, covered in optical paper and soaked in the alcohol ether liquid. To properly clean a lens clogged with oil, you really do need to take the lens apart. Trying to clean it in situ will never give you a satisfying result. Other tips. If you have been using your microscope for a while or simply over-tightened the focus knob, this tightening screw here can become loose. And as you try to focus, when you let go of the wheel, the focus slips, which is extremely frustrating. Some microscopes are supplied with a tightening ring here, which you just need to tighten up to resolve the problem. Others, you will need to use a screwdriver. But all good quality microscopes have a system for resolving this problem. If you can't find the mechanism to tighten the screw yourself, do not hesitate to contact your supplier and ask for help. Another thing that can disrupt the delicate settings of your microscope is vibration. So if you have a centrifuge in your lab, try not to have it on the same table as your microscope. If that is unavoidable, place the centrifuge on a rubber mat to absorb the vibrations as much as possible, and indeed the noise as well, making the lab a nicer place to work in. Your microscope will be less shaken around, and therefore last longer. So, in summary, the key points. Always replace the cover. Be careful with immersion oil. Take apart and clean dry lenses straight away if they are accidentally in contact with oil. Use a preparation of 70% alcohol and 30% ether to clean your microscope. I have found this mixture to be really effective, and it has greatly improved the effectiveness of my cleaning process. I find it really very useful. Take the lens apart to clean them properly. And use optical paper for cleaning lenses to protect their outer coating and prolong their useful life. So that's it for this week. Thank you for your attention. I hope you have enjoyed the series and learnt many useful things. Underneath this video, you will find a link to a feedback questionnaire. If you have a couple of minutes, I would really appreciate it if you could share your opinion on the course. Thank you very much. Next week, I have prepared a clinical challenge for you. There is a first video with a case study on which I invite you to draw your own conclusions. The second video, posted the same day, but I'm relying on you not to cheat, will give you the results. So until next week, goodbye.